Michael, you're a great entrepreneur, as I mentioned, and now you work with Pro-Founders Capital, so your job is to find great entrepreneurs. So you're a good person to ask. What would you say are some of the inherent skills or personality type of a phenomenal world-class entrepreneur?
Well, I mean, obviously meet a lot, as I think probably everyone here does, a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's always interesting trying to work out whether they are a great entrepreneur or not. And I mean, it's obviously the key thing for any investor. And you tend to invest a lot more in the person potentially than the company or the idea that they have.
Yeah.
I wish I could actually just invest in people and not ideas, and say I back you for the rest of your life, and anything you do, I'll get 20% of it for investing so much money in you. But unfortunately, you can't do that. But
I would take a cash lump sum if you want to take 20% of it.
Yeah, I need to know you better to know whether you're one of those great entrepreneurs. But you know, when you meet someone, you can often quite quickly determine. I mean, I tend to like people who are very enthusiastic,
Yeah.
A huge amount of energy, a great amount of original ideas, people who you can talk to and there's just constantly feeding back insights and thoughts and ideas and come up with original concepts. And when you do find one of those people, as I say, you just want to try and back them. And for me, it's important that I just like the person. I like to work with people that I enjoy being with. And so if I meet someone who I think is probably very talented, but I just don't click personality-wise, then I quickly lose interest.
Yeah. On a related subject, a lot of entrepreneurs or CEOs of media companies all have reasonably limited cash reserves, but a great need to get a phenomenal management team around them. So one of the great tactic I understand you took is you married Sochi, and so
it's not very scalable.
That's not very scalable, exactly. And some of us may already be married. So so what other strategies, or how can CEOs or entrepreneurs with low cash reserves surround themselves by great management?
I guess you have to be a great salesperson. I mean, that's not something that we really did, honestly. We set out to, again, because we were financially constrained, we knew we had to do everything ourselves. We knew we had to get Evolve marketing working because we didn't have a marketing budget. I knew I had to develop everything myself because I couldn't afford to hire a developer.
Yeah.
And really, they were the only things that we needed to do. If we could develop and the site and do Evolve marketing and grow, then we didn't need much cash. So I think I think there's different types of entrepreneurs, and I tend to favour the ones that kind of have the whole package and can do it themselves, rather than someone who comes to me and says, I've got a great idea. If I can only hire a great team around me, I'm going to make a great success of it. I'm like, yeah, if only, right? It's kind of not that easy to do.
Yeah. So sort of prototype with...
Prototype and, I mean, the obvious thing is to be a co-founder. So if you have half the package, you can still be a great success, clearly, and most people do that. Yeah. They find someone who's got the other half. So if they're not technical, they find someone who is technical and make them a co-founder and then go it together. Yeah. And you're both willing to take nominal money or no money until you get it a success.
Just talking about that Monkey Inferno, for example, I understand that you try and replicate the early days of Bebo with five or six engineers around a table. I imagine it's probably a nicer table, but does that work in terms of incubation of ideas and sort of getting...
I don't know yet, we'll find out. Monkey Inferno, people probably don't know what that is. It's some crazy ass name for a company, but it's a sort of a labs company. So I don't like the word incubator, but we're developing our own ideas, and we realise that the next idea we come up with may not be the next big thing. So we want to try and experiment with multiple ideas, not do big launches of each, we just put them out there, find if they work, and then iterate on them. So the idea there is really to go back to what we were doing before. Before it was myself, my wife in a bedroom, kind of doing them serially. But now we can scale it a little more. We can hire people and do multiple ideas in parallel and try and find the next big one. It's not about finding 5 big ideas. It's about finding one big idea amongst 5 ideas.
Sure.
So we'll find out whether it works. We've been doing it for about 6 months, and we're about to launch our first, I would say, real startup since Bebo, which is called Jolitics, which is a political networking site. And that's going live initially in Ireland this week. Right. We're going to see how it does in Ireland and then launched in the UK, then the US.